Alright, Schlockmeisters fans, another review from my previous channel. Joan Collins and Christopher Lee in Dark Places. Let's check it out. Christopher Lee.
Dr. Vanderbilt, see Mr. Marr, Mr. Andrew Marr. I'll check with the office. Well, please be quick. The man is dying.
So as the man is dying, he's telling this guy he can keep his house, basically inherit it. And he makes a mention of some money, too.
Mr. Foster, is it?
Yes, that's right.
Mr. Prescott said to meet you.
So he's come to inherit the house.
He's sorry he couldn't come himself, only he's tied up in town.
Welcome to Mars Grove. The old man was in a mental institution and hadn't been here in years. So it's a little unkept. He's staying at a place nearby where he can see the estate. No one's supposed to be there, but he sees some movement. Now, the locals think the place is haunted. Mr. Mars' wife and kids died there years ago. So the next day he explores the house. It needs a cleaning. And then Joan Collins shows up. That's Sarah.
What are you doing here?
I did knock, but I couldn't make anybody hear.
I was just,
Looking around your new house.
I've often wondered what happened to that money. The sum which I handed to him in cash on that day was £210,000.
Sarah is Christopher Lee's brother. They're scheming to try to get that money. They know it's hidden in the house somewhere.
We've got to scare him off.
When Foster comes back the next day or something. A ghost?
No, I saw her at the house today.
I don't think so. As far as anyone knows, she's dead.
Oh no, I saw her, looking exactly like... You're not going to get rid of me.
He hears things in the house.
Do you hear me? This is my house.
So he spends some of his time looking for the money. Perhaps it's hidden in a wall somewhere, and his coat is moving.
You still think that money is here, don't you?
I know it is. And so do you, otherwise you'd have sold up the estate long ago.
You have no right to Andrew Marr's money.
Sarah's doing her best to woo him.
Hello? Anyone at home?
He hears some ghostly giggles. Meanwhile, these two are getting on quite well.
The law. He knows that will isn't legal. Why did he let you have this house, Edward?
Foster keeps looking for the loot. Found a bat. Alright, we get flashbacks of Mr. Marr and who's played by Jane Birkin. Sarah turns into her. Sarah and brother come over to invite him out for a walk.
Today's Sunday, isn't it?
Of course it is. We're going for a walk.
Edward, would you like to come along?
No thanks.
We get some more flashbacks. Mr. Marr was having an affair with Alta.
I don't stand it.
What did she say?
She said that...
He decides he's going to break up with his wife to be with Alta. Of course, he has kids with his wife, and his kids don't seem to like Alta.
Take this.
He's planning to leave with her.
Lock your door. And pack. We leave this afternoon. I'm going to tell her now.
She doesn't take it very well.
I smash a glass. One of my favorite glasses. And all you do is talk about that slut.
Another flashback. She's trying to make up and...
Victoria.
It's all right, my darling. It's all going to be.
What do you mean?
She hears Alta screaming. The children are apparently doing something to her. And then we come back to modern times, and it appears that it's Foster choking Sarah.
sufficient virtue.
He goes up and finds his sister's body, and then Edward takes care of him too. We get a flashback to Alta and Mr. Marr, and apparently the kids killed her.
We can stay together always.
So he takes a sword and slices his children. This guy comes over and sees all the carnage.
Victoria, Alda, and the children.
Pieces in there.
There are 2 cases in here.
And that's our film. Alright, let's talk about this movie, Dark Places. Now, when I reviewed this on my old channel 5 years ago, I was using this DVD, this goofy little thin thing here with Horror Express on it, this double feature, which is basically like a bootleg, is what it was. It was unauthorized, I think, and it was a crappy copy. So, but now, you know, years later, Severin ends up putting out this Eurocrypt collection from Christopher Lee, and then recently they put out volume 2 of that, which includes Dark Places. So now we got a brand new, beautiful looking Blu-ray copy of this thing, and man, did they clean it up. It looks great. So anyway, the movie itself, I originally had this movie on a beta tape. I taped off of cable, way back when. We're talking probably like December of 85, of 84, maybe January of 85, something like that. Long time ago. I think I had on the same tape with the movie The Wildlife, actually. Anyway, the movie is, I don't know if this is Hammer or not, but I don't think it is. But anyway, Christopher Lee, Joan Crawford. No, shit. Joan Collins. Shit. Anyway, so this old man in this mental home dies, and he apparently leaves his estate because he's got no kids or wife left because he killed them, to a guy who runs the asylum. So this guy, Mr. Foster, Edward Foster, goes into the place. The place is full of cobwebs. It's filthy. Now, there's a rumor that Mr. Marr, the old guy, had some money hidden in there, like a significant amount of cash. So Joan Collins and her brother, Christopher Lee, she plays Sarah, I can't remember his name, they decide to scheme. They're going to try to get that money. So she basically goes to Mr. Foster's place and seduces him, woos him, volunteers to help clean the place, help him out, that sort of thing. Meanwhile, she just wants that money. Meanwhile, he keeps having, Mr. Foster keeps having these like flashbacks of what happened in the house years earlier. See, the house is apparently haunted. Apparently, Mr. Marr had killed his wife and killed his kids, and he was like having an affair with this woman named Alta, who's played by Jane Birkin, and we see some flashbacks of that here and there. All the while he's there, he searches for the money too. We do get a flashback, and we do see what happened. He was having an affair with Alta. He was going to leave his wife. He tried to leave his wife, and she wasn't. She kept calling her a slut. Kept calling Alta a slut, and was not having this. And then the kids ended up killing Alta, and she, the wife was trying to, Victoria was her name, was trying to seduce her husband, Mr. Marr. He wasn't having it. He heard Alta screaming. He turns around and chokes his wife. Then he goes and sees that the kids have killed his mistress, Alta. Then he takes a sword and slices his kids' throats and kills them. So yeah, quite a guy. Meanwhile, Christopher Lee comes over to the house this one night and tells him, you know, I looked up your name. You weren't the head of the asylum there. You were a patient. You got released the day after Mr. Marr died. So apparently he still did inherit the place, but he's nuts, and he's still nuts because he's having these weird flashbacks and everything, or maybe he's being possessed by the house. I'm not exactly sure. But anyway, at this point, he has killed Sarah. He choked her because he was having like this flashback of being Mr. Marr when he choked his wife. So he chokes Sarah. Christopher Lee comes in, and then he sees his sister dead, and then he turns around and gets hit with his pickaxe, and then he's dead. And this other guy comes over and sees what's going on. The police show up, and ultimately they do find the money. It was hid in the wall there, and they take Mr. Foster away, and that's how our movie ends. So anyway, a lot of people died, and I don't know who got the money. I guess the police did, or I don't know, whatever. Anyway, that's the movie, Dark Places. And I've seen this movie a few times over the years. I never really cared for it too much, although today I think I enjoyed it better than I've ever done it before. I paid really close attention to it, and it was kind of interesting. It's a little slow in places, but it's all right. It's not a bad little thriller. So anyway, no nudity in this movie, a little bit of violence, and actually the violence was a little unsettling. I mean, killed his kids. There's a nice scene where Christopher Lee gets the pickaxe in his chest. And I mean, not overly gory, but it's stuck in there, and we see it pretty well. But yeah, and I got to hand it to the folks at Severin. This Blu-ray looks fantastic. I think this was part of their Memorial Day thing, sale, having this Eurocrypt came out. And I finally got mine in the mail this past week. I ordered it with the Ray Dennis Steckler box set, which took a couple months delayed. So it finally showed up this past week. So there you go. Anyway, that's it. Again, I recommend this movie. It's pretty good. You might be able to find the cheap DVD on this one. Maybe it's streaming online too. But man, if you want a nice copy of it, get the Eurocrypt box set, Volume 2 of Christopher Lee, and check it out. So leave some comments and know what you think about Dark Places. Watch it. Bye.